What is up, YouTube? Today I'm going to be profiling my Counter Fairy deck. This is one of my guilty pleasures. I know this deck isn't really that good, but it's fun to play. I like the play style; it's very control heavy. It plays a lot of really cool rarities and ultimate rares, so I really like the deck. I've been playing a lot on Dueling Nexus and Dueling Book. I've been doing pretty well. It's not the best deck, obviously. That's why I don't have a side or extra to show you guys, because it's really just a fun deck, just to profile the main deck. So yeah, without further ado, guys, I'll get on with the deck. Before I get started, I just want to let you guys know I am close to 500 subs, so that's my goal for the next couple weeks, if you guys can get me there. I do post regularly now. Maybe I do a deck profile every couple days, so stay tuned for that, guys. Hit the notification bell if you like the videos. So for monsters, we play triple Bountiful Artemis. This card states that when a counter trap activates and resolves, you can draw one. It's not once per turn, and if your opponent activates a counter trap also, you can draw from that too. So this deck's pretty much, the goal is just to set up a bunch of counter traps with this card, and just trade one-for-ones with Solemn Judgment, Solemn Warning, while you're plussing with this card. To accompany that, we play triple Guiding Ariadne. This card that came out a couple years ago in Bosch. What this card says, once in the scale, you don't have to pay life points or discard for cost for your counter traps. So essentially making your counter traps all free. So with this card in scale, it just makes all your counter traps pretty much normal traps, if that makes sense. And its other effect, which doesn't really go off that often, is when it's destroyed by card effect or battle, you can reveal 3 counter traps from your deck, and then your opponent randomly chooses one to add to your hand. So it's pretty good. And then for the one of fairies, we play the one Minerva. Minerva says it gains 300 attack whenever a counter trap is activated. And then if you have Sanctuary on the Sky in the field, you can target one counter trap in your graveyard and add it to your hand other than the one you activated. So if you have a Solemn Warning in your grave and you just activated a Solemn Strike, you can just add that Solemn Warning back to your hand. And it gets really big with that first effect, gaining 300. And then for your boss monster, I just play one of the new Parshath monsters. This card can come out whenever you activate a counter trap or negate an effect. You banish 2 fairies either from your hand or graveyard to summon it from your hand or graveyard. And it has piercing damage, just like the original one. And then when it does battle damage, you can add 1 Parshath or counter trap from your deck to your hand. So it's really good for finishing off games, because you don't really do that much damage. You just control the board. And then for the last monster to round off, we put one Thunder King Ryo. I played the Thunder King just because it's a solid normal summon. Just being able to summon it with a bunch of counter traps just stuns your opponent. So it's a really good standalone monster. Has a pretty good attack. So just that one. And that's it for the monsters. I play 9 of them. And then for the spells, we play one of the new cards for the Counter Fairy archetype, triple Sanctum of Parshath. This card says that all your fairies gain 300 attack. So it makes all your little fairies a little bit bigger. And then it counts as Sanctuary in the Sky. And then your opponent can target your set spell or traps with card effects, or they can't be destroyed. And then the last part is during your turn, you can target 3 fairies or counter traps in your grave, or a combination of both, and then put them in the top of your deck in any order. So it helps you recycle all your counter traps, just to make sure you don't run out of resources. So that card's pretty cool. And then for consistency, we play triple Pot of Duality. Aside from your Parshath, you don't really special summon, so it helps you dig deeper into your deck. And then to accompany that, we play... sorry if the camera moves a little bit. Triple Pot of Extravagance. Same thing with Pot of Duality. You just want to dig down in your deck and just add a bunch of resources. So that's for the consistency. Sorry if you guys can hear any noise in the background. There's a lot going on in my house right now. And then we play the one Raigeki, just to clear off problematic monsters that you can't beat over with your Parshath or deal with your traps. So just a one of. And then for your traps, which is the most important part, we play triple Rebirth of the Parshath. This card says it has the same thing as Judgment, where it can negate anything. It's an Omni Negate. And then to activate its cost, you just have to pay 1,000, reveal a counter trap, and then discard. So if you have Guiding Ariadne, all you have to do to meet the requirement is just reveal 1 counter trap from your hand. And then after all that resolves, you can special summon 1 Parshath from your deck or extra deck. So it helps you get out the your boss monster. And now for probably the best counter trap ever printed. Triple Solemn Judgment. This card's just standard. If you have Guiding Ariadne, it's pretty much a free negate, which is really cool. And then to accompany that, we play triple Solemn Warning. It's newly unlimited. I don't think it was this list, but a couple lists ago, it was put to 3. So definitely got to play that card. It's probably one of the most well-known counter traps, other than Solemn Judgment. And then to round off the Solemns, we play 2 Solemn Strike. I think 2 is a good number because when you have Guiding Ariadne, the Warning and the Judgment are better options. So this is just a countermeasure, if you want to call it that. And we play 2 Dark Bribe. Even though that this card Doesn't get helped with Guiding Ariadne. You still have to, your opponent still draws one. If you have Bountiful on the field, you both draw one, so it's not that bad. And also, usually with Dark Rob, you're usually stopping like a Lightning Storm, a Twin Twister, evenly matched, stuff like that. And then to round off the counter traps, we play 2 Divine Providence, or is that Ultimate Providence? Sorry about that. So this card says that when your opponent activates an effect, you can pitch one card from your hand that's the same type as that card to negate. So if your opponent activates like a Twin Twister, you can pitch a Raigeki because it's a spell to negate that. And if you have Guiding Ariadne, you don't have to pitch a card for that. So it's just pretty much like a free negate. I only play 2 of because it only works really well when you have Guiding Ariadne. So I don't want to draw multiples of these without the Guiding Ariadne. And then for other traps that aren't counter traps, we play Triple Compulse. Just because it deals with problematic monsters that can't be like destroyed by Raigeki and stuff like that. And if you go second, it's good to just remove problems. So that when your opponent summons that monster again that you compulsed, you can always just negate the summon. And then to round off that, for the last 3 cards of the deck, we play Triple Crackdown. Just same reasoning as Compulse. You just want to be able to like have traps that react to your opponent that you don't have to like wait for. I don't play any hand traps in this deck because I feel like you just want to focus on going first and make your going first hands a lot better. Yeah, guys, hopefully you guys like that Counter Fairy deck profile. Please stay tuned in a couple days. I have a surprise for you guys of deck I'm going to be profiling. Please like, comment, subscribe. Get me to 500 subs. I really appreciate it. You guys are pretty good. Whenever I upload videos, I tend to see a lot of subscribers pop up. So I'm really happy about that. Hopefully you guys are safe and have fun. Peace.